I've realized a couple of people think that tech or working in tech is basically just knowing about programming and coding, but actually isn't. There are numerous other fields there in tech that you don't necessarily have to know programming or coding skills. In most people's minds, tech or the tech industry only involves coding and programming, but that's not the case. Others also think tech guys or gals are just nerdy, always wearing glasses and stuck in their parents' basements, drinking soda all day, and have no social life. But is that so? So, what is tech or technology? Basically, technology is the application of scientific knowledge to the practical aims of human life. What does this mean? Anything that helps us to make things easier or to lighten the load basically can be considered as technology. The main aim of technology is to solve problems, improve efficiency, and enhance human life. This is from the little things like a pen to large things like rockets, planes, spaceships, and the like. So all these come together basically to make stuff easier for us. So if you want to go somewhere, what comes to mind is a bicycle, a car. All these are technology. If you want to reach someone who is not necessarily close to you, you think of a telephone. If you want to cross the ocean or cross the sea or cross any river body or water body, you think of a boat, a canoe, a ship. All these things are basically technology all around us. So now we understand what technology is. It's not necessarily computers and just robots, but it's basically anything around us that makes life simpler. So now, what's the tech industry? So the tech industry is an industry that seeks to study, maintain, and develop technology. That's basically it. So it's not just coding, but also research goes in here. Take a computer for instance. Imagine if someone just got up and started combining wires and programming things without any particular aim. It won't get a person anywhere. The research has to come in here to study and understand what needs to go into what they are trying to solve, and basically the aim of the whole thing. You can't start a project without a reason for starting it, else it will be pointless. So now that we understand this, we know that there are some fields in the tech industry that don't necessarily need programming or coding. And here are just a few. Starting with product management. Remember when you were in school and you were put into groups and you had to build a particular project, not necessarily tech related, but you had to do something, maybe submit a written assignment or home econs class, cooking. Remember, there always had to be one or two people that had to lead the group so that we move in the particular direction. So this is basically the job of a product manager. The product manager basically collabs with all the stakeholders, that's including all the technical people and the customers, and try and steer everything to a particular goal. So the role of a product manager, you don't necessarily have to know coding. You have to understand people. You have to really have good people skills. You have to be able to understand the product itself, because if anyone understands the product that is being built, it has to be the product manager, because that person is the single source of truth for all parties involved, being the customer, being the developer, being anyone involved in the whole project. A product manager has tasks to do. They create tasks for developers and follow up to make sure that the tasks that were assigned to the individuals have actually been done. They also report back to the client on the progress of the project. The product manager is basically someone in the middle and liaises with the development team and with the clients to make sure that everything is moving smoothly and there's cohesion between these two parties. They also go to the customer to take any deliverables that are necessary for the development of the product. So the product manager is basically the glue for a production team. The next one, tech sales. Imagine you build a world-class project, a project that could do everything. Imagine it's the latest AI, it's so realistic, it's basically a human being in your room, but you can't market it, you can't get anyone to actually see the value in this. Yeah, that's where you need tech sales. After the development team has been able to complete a project, whether it was as tiny as a toothpick to as big as a car, you need someone to actually go out there to market these things, to get people interested to come and purchase them. Else, all the time spent will be wasted, including the money and all the resources. Imagine you've spent years building something and it doesn't get anywhere. So as a tech salesperson, you have to also understand the product and how it brings value to the end users. So you have to be someone who understands the value that the product is bringing to the end users, how it can be used, how it's better than the competition. So if you can do these things, you don't necessarily need programming to be able to sell or to pitch. You should be able to speak well, to have good communication skills and all those stuff, but you don't necessarily need programming skills. UX or UI engineer. As a UX or UI engineer, your only job is to deal with colors. I'm lying though. UI UX engineers have to study and understand human perception and how they will react with colors. For instance, you're creating a web page and you want to give the vibe of peace or tranquility. You wouldn't use harsh colors or harsh imagery, but you rather use tranquil things like pictures of nature or soothing colors to the eye. But imagine if you want something wild, like you're building something for a rave or something really wild and out there, you will use harsh colors and more wild designs. All these things, you don't necessarily need programming to be able to do this. You just have to have that keen eye for colors and how to blend shapes and colors to appease the client, basically. Not limiting to web pages, the UI UX person has to also consider how the thing smells, how the thing feels for tangible products. These people are usually the first point of call when a customer comes in. So the customer comes with their idea. They sit with the product manager and the UI UX person. From my experience, that's what I've noticed. They sit with these people and actually flesh out the application or flesh out the project into the specific parts. Then the UI UX engineer comes out with a concept or a prototype to actually show the customer how it would look like, so that if they get the approval, the development team can continue, because it will be a serious waste if the development team starts and that is not really what the client wants. You get? In most cases, only after the initial phase has been accepted by the customer from the UI UX team do the engineers start the project. In some cases, they make sure everything is fixed. Usually in the agile system, when a component gets done and can actually be worked on without affecting too much of the other stuff, that moves to the development team to start the development, so that other stuff can be looked on by the UI UX engineer without holding the whole process. The next is tech support. I know, right? Tech support, you think it's someone who actually knows programming to come and help the tech guy. Well, that's not the case. This role can actually involve both the software and hardware components. What do I mean? For example, you join a company and the company has options to give you devices to work with. It's usually the tech support that handles the delivery of these devices. The tech support basically does the purchasing and the configuration of the devices before handing it over to you. Not all companies have this because they may not have the size or the funding to have dedicated tech support and may have other engineers do tech support for the company. But if the company can't afford it, they do have dedicated tech support. Some other roles of the tech support include attending to engineers who have issues with company services or software. For example, a VPN. If the VPN doesn't work for you or is currently slow, usually report to the tech support. They handle that issue, so that you don't, as a developer, you don't have to really worry about that kind of stuff, but they are dedicated teams to do that. Also, if you're installing a company software and it's having malfunctions, for instance, as a developer or as any part of the team, it's not your job to now go and rack your head on it. You should try and find solutions online, but if you can't, you have to create a ticket to the support team so that they assist you with this. Tech recruiter. Isn't it interesting? The person who could get to your dream programming tech job doesn't necessarily have to know how to program in the first place. The tech recruiter is responsible for finding, attracting, and recruiting top talent to fill a particular role in a company. They work closely with hiring managers, HR, and also with the candidates to make sure that they are the best fit for the role. Their job also includes keeping tabs on good candidates, even if they are not necessarily actively looking for jobs, so that they build that kind of relationship with them, so that when a role opens up in the company, they could easily get that particular candidate because that candidate is good before their competitors come grab that candidate, because they've already established that kind of relationship with them. Also, depending on where the company is, they'll have to go through tons and tons of applications, portfolios, and resumes. Not always manually though. Cross-checking the applicant with the role in order to find the best match. This step can be very repetitive and tasking, especially if that role needs to be filled immediately. And also imagine you get a good candidate, however that candidate fails during the hiring process or drops out of the hiring process. That means the tech recruiter has to start all over again. These are just a few roles that do not necessarily need programming skills to get into. It would be nice to have programming skills in these roles, but they are not really necessary, especially when starting. There are lots more you could check on Google or ChatGPT to get a whole list of them, but these are just a few of them. So remember, the tech industry, you don't necessarily have to know programming skills. There are other parts of the tech job, like a quality assurance engineer's role will basically be to ensure that the user interface matches what the customer needed. For that, you don't need programming skills. You just have to have good analytics and also be very keen to details. Also, if you're handling the financial part of the tech company, you don't necessarily have to know any programming skills, because yours has to do with money and sheets and all those stuff. So thank you for watching. If you like this kind of content, kindly like, subscribe and comment. I'll make sure to respond. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.